Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for Table Crashers episode 28, the show where we talk to creators about the things they're creating on Kickstarter, mostly with tabletop and board games. We have Michael Erisman here with us, the creator of Era of Kingdoms. Michael, welcome.
Hello, thank you.
How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. So you're sitting at 38,627 right now on your overall performance of this Kickstarter. What was your original pledge goal?
So we had a pledge goal of 8,000. So the community response has been amazing. All the backers have been really supportive, and it's been great. We've been really just thrilled with how everything's been going. So
awesome, wonderful. Before we really get into what we're going to be talking about tonight, I do want to mention that Geekspell is a growing community, and we have a Discord where we're setting up games, and we're going to be playing stuff on Tabletop Simulator and Tabletopia. We currently have Game of Thrones month going on. Actually, it's Area Control, correct, guys? It's currently Area Control game month. So
yes, it is.
There's a lot of games going on right now in the background on Discord. So please join in those games and help grow our community. So Michael, tell me a little bit about Era of Kingdoms. What is the overall theme? Where did it come from? And where did this idea form?
Sure. So I've been making games my whole life, ever since a little kid. So I just wanted to make a game, first of all, that I would enjoy. That's how it really started. And when I was younger, I used to make games that were just overly complex. It wasn't even fun. It was just so complex. So I was like, I'm just going to really restrict myself and have very basic mechanics, but still have enough choice to keep the strategy in. Still have elements where everyone would enjoy, but wouldn't off-put so many people. So that's where the concept started. So I gave myself a couple of objectives. The first one is you always have a lot to do on your turn. So certain games go by, and if you don't have the resources, then that's it. It's like, well, I couldn't do much, but you can go. So there was an emphasis on every turn you're going to be building, progressing, and you're going to feel like that, feel like you're progressing too. And so the other objective is I wanted to have checkpoints throughout the game that you're working towards. And in that it's with the decks. So you start off with a basic deck, and as your kingdom grows, you progress to the intermediate. Then you'll get a new set, a kind of a mini objective, like, oh, now I've got to play all these cards. They're awesome. A lot higher, harder to play. And then you'll get to the advanced deck, and it'll have its own objective within the game. So it wasn't just get the most victory points. There's kind of some steps along the way that you have to achieve.
So you like to keep players active. You like to keep them thinking throughout the game. You don't like there to be really downtime where it's it's your turn, it's my turn, and now I wait for you to do all your things. You want there to be a lot of active play happening.
Right.
Real quick, you mentioned something that I think is critical. You mentioned that your original design concepts, you overthought them or you made them too complicated. Was that I talked to a previous guest about this, but you talked about how were you trying to replicate like the pure simulation of that event, or living through some kind of game event? And what I mean by that is the system complicated because you wanted to make that almost like a one-to-one representation of how it actually was to experience that in your own life.
I can see that. Well, it goes to the point of simulation in games and how how much you want to simulate things. Correct. And also just in a game, what makes a game fun? What makes choices? What are choices that people think like, why do I have to think about this, versus choices that are like, oh, this is great, I can't wait to decide. What's that difference? And a lot of it comes down to simplifying the core mechanic, but then having lots of options throughout that those core mechanics can do. And right. So, so when I was younger, especially, it was like, let's simulate this. So, all these things can happen, and there's like 100 choices you can do. And like,
there's gonna be 1,000 cards.
Right.
Offer pool. There's going to be 40,000 chits. This is going to be the greatest game ever. And then like you sit down with somebody and try to explain it, and how to play it, and then you're trying to explain it to them, and they're like, yeah, okay, turn one, they're just like, oh, this needs a lot of redesign. and then how did that feedback actually affect you early on in your design stuff? Like, did that actually did it make you like, were you upset by some of that feedback, or did you grow with it?
Yeah, I think it's a very important life skill to take criticism, turn it into something useful. Mm-hmm. And like anything in life, you have to develop that. And of course, as a kid, I would get offended or discouraged, and I finally learned, like, oh, if I listen and analyze, then it makes everything better, And it's like that with everything. It's like that with my job and life and listening to my wife instead of with everything.
That's the ultimate test. That is the greatest teacher, I believe. Right? So what got you started in design? You talked about doing this when you were younger. What really pushed you into game design?
Probably the people in my life probably at a critical point introducing me to certain games. So when my sister was 7 years older, and she had, she would have her friends come over, and they would always be playing something that I thought was really cool. They played like Warcraft 2 on the PC, and they had some RPGs, like tabletop RPGs, Vampire the Masquerade and things. And it really just excited me, and the whole concept. And then I was too young to play with them, obviously, but they were too cool to play with this younger brother, and so I would make up my own games while they were playing, and that's really how it started.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's awesome. So are you the baby of the family then?
Yeah, I'm the youngest. Yep, just one sibling, 7 years.
Okay, 7 years in between. So that must have been challenging. And that's great that out of necessity, to share that experience with your sister, you sort of created your own little world and started designing. That's phenomenal. Right. That is absolutely. Yeah. So really, a quick question related: did Era of Kingdoms start as a seed at that age, or that sort of grown to this, or is this something more recent that was spawned into your head?
Yeah, definitely more recent. About 2 years ago, the idea popped up.
Okay. What do you think triggered this theme, this game, the mechanics that came into it? What happened to you in your life that sort of brought all these things together?
I moved, and there was maybe about a 6-month period. Oh no, less than that. It was probably a 2-month period where my fiance had to delay for her school, so she was finishing school. So I had moved states. And, it was like an empty house. I had to unpack, and there was a lot of downtime, and it just came to me, and there was a little bit more time to think about things. And that's how
that's interesting, because creating as a healing factor, the creativity spark happens out of two major things, I think, in life, pain and loneliness, or like a passion project, a major change in your life usually stimulates a large burst of creativity. And I see it with a lot of creators, and obviously this happened with you too. So that's how you got the spawn of Era of Kingdoms. That's phenomenal.
That's some good analysis.
So, I mean, who beyond, we're talking about your creativity as a whole, not just the Era of Kingdoms, who has influenced you creatively in your life?
Ooh, that's a good question, because I really don't play too many board games. Like, I really don't, and I wish I had more time with it. They're extremely fun. So creatively, I would say my biggest influence is music. And before I was all in on designing a game, I had a band when I lived in Washington D.C. called Oust, O-U-S-T, and we recorded one album and got it on Spotify, and then that was it. The band broke up, and we all went our separate ways.
Okay, on Spotify, let me
yes. O-U-S-T.
What genre did you play?
It's like folk, indie folk. So
now I definitely have to look it up. There's a little separate plug we just threw in there. Check out Oust on Spotify. Also, one of you go by Michael, correct, or Mike?
Yeah, Michael.
One of Michael's side projects. So that's great. You work in the tech sector. I know we talked a little bit about this before we went on stream. But it's not always seen as a creative job area. There are some, when you're in the mix of it, there's some creative planning you have to do that your supervisors don't give you credit for. I think we can agree with that. Does designing help scratch, the itch when it comes to, that drone feeling that you go through on a normal basis in your job?
Sure. So with software engineering, there's definitely a burst of creative outlet on the design concept of the job.
Mm-hmm.
Once it's been designed, then it's getting the work done, laying the code down. And so, I absolutely think for me, I need another release, whether it's music or game design or something. And that probably plays a major role, definitely.
So I mean, with writing software, it's not practical math. It's more of like imaginary math where you're coming up with equations and stuff like that. But you obviously have a strong background in mathematics. How much does that play into your design and balancing things? Do you use equations? Do you just throw numbers at a wall? Do you have like 30,000 spreadsheets that you try to balance it all? Like, what do you do?
Definitely very methodical. Okay. So it started off with spreadsheets, draw percentages for the decks. And being a software engineer, I was able to set up a Monte Carlo analysis with different variation in how simple AI might play cards or prioritize cards. So Monte Carlo analysis is essentially take a random variation through a set of variables. Mm-hmm. And a simple decision-making process, and run it like 1,000,000 times, and you'll get a trend of, okay, if somebody plays this play style, how many points on average are they going to get? What's the point range and things like that. But what you can't simulate through all these tests and spreadsheets is how fun it is. And the enjoyment factors. So.
Of course, you can only look at so many bell-shaped curves, and it doesn't give you, you don't get this look at like the table, and that's where playtesting comes in. That's your job as a designer. There's two parts to it. You put your design together, and then the other part is examining and observing, playtesters. If you get a playtester that's doing this at a table, then you're like, okay, I failed. There's some back to the drawing board. But if you have somebody sitting there like they like on the edge of their seat staring at the table, and you could tell that they're really into it, or you get those like, like the fists in the air type of reactions. That you've hit a lot of the right buttons on design. Right. But it's funny because no matter how much you prepare, I think in the design phase, the playtesting phase is always going to be a learning process. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. So I'll be honest. A year and a half ago, we had our first playtest, blind playtest. So people that didn't know me. And for them, at first, it was a pretty miserable experience because some of the attacks at that point were way too detrimental. And I could just tell looking around, they were so frustrated. And I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? And the cool thing about playtesting is you get to see the progression. And the next time you make changes, you're like, oh, people are really enjoying this now. They used to hate that mechanic when it worked this way. And it's been a huge learning process, definitely. And over time, I got better at what they call qualitative techniques of interpreting data. So you have questionnaires of people, and you can highlight, codecs and key things people are making trends and so that whole process has definitely been a great learning experience.
So it's funny that you mentioned, moving to the qualitative, because that's part of, what the playtesting is. That's seeing the human reaction to your number crunching. But what ended up happening, like when you were sitting at the table and running all these numbers, did you expect to just go into playtesting and be like, oh, they're gonna love this, or were you weary of it going into it? I guess I should rephrase that. Was this your first major design, or have you designed other things that carried some success before this?
So we had made the illustrator and I, when I say we, and another programmer, we had made an online Flash zombie RPG in 2011.
Awesome. Okay.
And so, a Flash game is, you have a wide range of people, but the majority is, young males, like 13, 11. Right. And it was a pretty big hit for them, but it was a Flash game. So besides that was the only experience of publishing game besides me just creating my own stuff in the past. And so, yeah, my first thought when I went to playtesting was definitely a little bit unsure, but I had a lot of fun at that point, and so I thought, this is going to be great, And
Yeah.
what I didn't account for at that, when we first started the testing was how people might use certain certain mechanics,
Of course,
and especially negative events and that sort of thing. And so that was definitely a good learning point, and really made me take a step back and really analyze, okay, how can mechanics be used in every extent, the min and max of every negative event? Is there ways to mitigate that? How severely can it put someone back? What kind of swing can happen in the game because of it? And yeah, it ultimately made the game a lot better.
Okay, great. So. And I guess that's it's perfect because it leads into my next question for you. The theme here is dream versus reality. And how many changes did you have to make to your game to keep the cost of manufacturing down as well?
That's interesting. So certainly components to keep track of resources was a thought. So the majority of playtesters had no issue keeping track of the resources, and each resource you'll only have a single digit of, and it was but it does come up sometimes, and it has come up on the comment section of our Kickstarter. Is there going to be trackers for resources? Will there be a system to track? And we've come up with some creative ways to save manufacturing costs, and ultimately we're still deciding if we should include some kind of resource tracker or not.
Of course.
But certainly your main thought is like, all right, let's have wood tokens for the resources, or let's have like an abacus like counter,
Yeah,
and you
like
start thinking
these awesome things to apply to a theme, and
sure.
These things that I would love to do. Like that's, I think that what's plays into it is you as a designer. How would you? And we talk about dream versus reality. Your dream version of this game is going to be vastly different in most cases than what the reality it ends up coming out on the output end. But I mean, players don't realize that. They get what they get, and they're like, oh well, yeah, I love this. And the funny thing is, most of their feedback, like I could just imagine, like when somebody says at the end process, like, oh, I would have loved an abacus here. You're like, so would I. But I can't afford to do that for you guys. And I think that's what it all comes down to, because everybody wants. But when it comes down to price, that's, especially within the Kickstarter realm, you have to stay within a very small margin right now to be successful. So, I mean, how's that played out for you? I mean, has it been challenging, or has it been something that hasn't really been a big challenge for you in this process?
So I think we're confident that everything in the game is a complete game. I don't feel like anyone, once they play, will think this really needed a counter. And the reason for that is, the resources act as a threshold, and we'll see when we get into some gameplay. They act as a threshold. So once you reach 4, you don't have to worry about, oh, did I spend 2 this turn and I have 2 left? It's, once you hit 4, you've got 4. Okay. And so, I feel like all the components we have are definitely a complete package. But talking about the dreamer aspect of it, we were thinking, can we get town hall and castle minifigures to add, and in the center of the board and all this other stuff, and of course, and you see with other Kickstarter projects, like some designers are able to go crazy, and the price tag goes along with it, and there's some people that love that kind of thing and would gladly pay money for awesome minifigures and stuff. And but I think the key with this is definitely accessible. It's definitely more towards a gateway game, and so a lower price tag definitely helps with that.
Absolutely. Well, I, for one, am really excited to crash this table. Are you ready to sit down with these guys and start some gameplay?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right. Tonight, Adam and Chris will be joining us at the table. Hello, Adam. Hello, Chris.
Hello.
Hey, Will.
How are you tonight?
Fantastic.
So I'm ready to trounce some people. Got one down already.
I don't know if you mentioned this, Will, but we played a few days ago to kind of practice up, and Chris stomped us. So we have some making up to do.
That's pretty standard for us, though, let's be honest.
Is Michael like the hidden factor here? Like, was he playing the game with you then, or no?
I was.
Oh, so you guys prepped and without me involved. I see how it is.
You were on vacation. Come on.
I was.
Yeah.
I was.
I don't know if Michael was trying either. That's what I tell myself.
I was having a lot of fun.
Well, I have the advantage of beginner's luck here, maybe. So Michael, do me a solid here and walk me through some of the components on the table and some intro stuff about the game, and then our producer will go ahead and fly around the table as you point out different items. So
sure. Okay. So do you want a quick how to play, or do you want me to go over the components first?
How to play and then involve the components as you're teaching it. How's that sound?
Okay. So in Era of Kingdoms, each player will get a game board. And within a game board, you have 8 outside tiles that you'll be able to play land cards. The center land tile is reserved for your town hall and your castle card. And there's 3 slots over here. They're portrait slots for person cards. Now, both land and person cards will give resources. Some will give attack and defense used in the combat cards. On the side of the board, you've got 3 riches cards. Those are worth victory points at the end of the game, as well as they're used to borrow resources from another player if you just are 1 resource short. And then, of course, you've got the town hall and castle card to the side of the board that will be played later. Okay. And we also include a player turn guide, just a quick reference, and also an icon legend, just to,
very nice.
For the first time, help explain what the resource types are. So there's 4 main resource types. There's food, metal, population, and wood. And so the basic gameplay is each player will start with 5 cards, and I'll draw a couple of cards to explain. So each player will start with 5 cards, and you get 3 actions per turn. So playing a card, I'll draw a couple more to find some examples I'll discuss later on.
Okay.
But, playing a card takes an action, and you can also draw a basic card as a second action. So essentially, you can play 3 cards. If you don't have a card to play, you can draw a card to get a chance to play another card. The 3 major card types are land cards, which go on the 8 outer tiles. Example like that is Black Hills or Forest. And then there are also event cards, which can give you, have different effects. There's player interaction on those cards. There's events where you can draw additional cards or go through the discard. There's a lot of cool stuff that can happen in the events.
Okay, cool.
And then there are person cards, which go on the portraits.
Okay. Great. So let me mention real quick, one thing that I noticed, the art is really cool. It actually is reminiscent of Banner Saga in my mind.
Oh, cool.
Which I loved the art style in that, and it's almost like a cell shade, but not, like, with more detail, and I like that style. It's very, very well put together.
Yeah, we'll have to do a shout out to the illustrator Jeff. I think he's in the chat watching the stream right now.
Okay.
But Jeff is just phenomenal, and he puts up with me, and I tell him what I want, and he gets exactly what I tell him.
And I mentioned this in other interviews, but the relationship with your artist is a very important relationship, I think, as a designer, because they are the visual side of your vision. You handle the mathematical and balancing side of it. They are the one that fix and handle the presentation side. And if you don't have a relationship, or if you're a distant relationship and a developer is handling that instead of you, the designer, I think that disconnect sometimes causes issue within game design itself. Sure.
Yeah. And Jeff also came to me as he was designing the cards with lots of great ideas. Okay. And a lot of the ideas he came up with, I said, hey, that's awesome. Let's do that. I love that idea. And one of them is the saturation and the coloring of the cards. So as you progress, the cards have levels. So these basic lands like the forest are level 1. The saturation is lower, and as you get to the level 3 and level 4 cards in the advanced deck, everything gets brighter, more vivid, there's deeper colors. So you can visually see as your kingdom's progressing, or at a glance, you can look over at someone's kingdom and say, oh, they're pretty far ahead, you know.
Yeah, their stuff looks prettier than mine. They
That's
must
right.
be winning.
And at play testing, it was great to look around at different tables and say, oh, they're almost done, or they're just getting started.
That's great.
Get a little visual cue to how the game's progressing. And there's a million other ideas he's come up with, but he's been fantastic to work with.
Okay, great. I'm going to struggle through this learning in the beginning here. Everybody else at the table knows how to play, so you guys get to laugh at the host for this one. But go ahead and let's set it up for the first player. And how do we determine first player?
So it's youngest player first.
That is probably Michael.
It's probably you, Michael.
So I'm 30.
Oh, it's actually me by like 6 months.
Young. Yeah, I look pretty young.
I look pretty old. Thanks, Michael.
You're making Chris feel really great about himself right now.
Michael,
I'm
did we set these cards?
so I'm going to be going probably last year.
So I will. One of the steps is there is an Age of Enlightenment card in the advanced deck.
Okay.
And when this card is drawn, each player gets one final turn to try to get as many victory points as they can, and that is when the game ends.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I had to chuckle a little bit at the comment in chat. They're going to laugh at me regardless of if I was a noob or not. So
there you go.
Thanks, guys.
Will, quick story. So Chris, Tiny Rhino, and I met Michael at CanCon, which it's a local Kansas City convention.
Okay.
And that's really we like the game tremendously, but the art is what I think really drew us in to even want to talk to him and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
You walk by the table and you're like, oh, this looks really pretty.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, there's something to be said about that, right? It catches your eye.
There is. So he's still we're setting up the advanced stuff right now still? Yes?
I think so.
Okay.
How many is it, Michael?
So one of the things you can do, especially for a stream or if you only have a little bit of time, is you can choose where to place the advanced Age of Enlightenment card that ends the game, or you can shuffle it in randomly.
AKA he's cheating right now. That's what's happening.
No, everybody knows. Everyone knows where it will be. But for a shorter game, you can leave it near the top of the deck.
That's a cool mechanic change. Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to do was, first of all, show off the this trade route, which is a shared draft that we'll be using today for the first game. And if it's quick enough, then I'll go over some of the other cards that we're currently trying to unlock with the stretch goals, which it strengthens the economic side of the path to victory. So it gives a little bit more options for an economic victory.
Okay.
Did we already put the card in there, Michael?
I put it in there somewhere.
I've separated the deck. I thought we were going to put it in midway, so I'll let you.
Okay. Yep, it's good.
Okay.
So everyone is dealt 5 cards.
Okay.
I'll do cards for folks.
Chris just has to cheat right quick, guys.
Yep. There
Fairly
I go.
typical.
Okay, I've stacked the deck for me.
There
Good luck
it is.
winning, y'all.
There it is.
And so at this point, everybody has a chance to discard any number of cards in their hand and redraw back up to 5.
Ooh, okay. Little mulligan action.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm still not sure what I'm doing, so that's okay.
If you can't play a card, you want to toss it and try to get one you can.
Right. And what dictates that? Like I see some things that say have B on them. Does that mean I can't? Or is that just basic?
That's the base land. So that one
we'll go over,
you can
yeah.
play.
I'll
that
go over
one
just,
good. Okay.
just some of the card anatomy really quick for you and for the viewers too. So This card, this houses card is a base land card. It's a level 1 card. If you look in the upper left-hand corner where it says level 1, there are no resource requirements next to that, meaning it doesn't take anything to play. As long as you have an action and an open tile, you can play it on your board. It's a land card, so it goes on any of the 8 outer land tiles, and it's a base card, meaning you can place it on an empty tile and certain cards will stack on top of it. At the bottom, it gives 1 population is the symbol. So this is an example of the stack upgrade for the houses, the stone house. So a stone house is level 2 in the upper left-hand corner. It takes 1 food and 1 metal, or 1 food and 1 wood. In the upper right, you see the stacking arrow, meaning it requires a base card. Now, level 3 base cards can stack directly on a level 1. You just have to have that base land type. And at the bottom, it has 2 population given. At the bottom, purple population icons. And in the bottom right, it gives 1 victory point at the end of the game. Now, the resource family type matters. So you can't put a lumber camp on a house. It's got to be a stone house on a house and a lumber camp on a forest.
Okay, excellent. Definitely get that now. Cool. So I believe, Chris, you are starting first, right?
Yes. Is this level 2 stone house someone's card?
It was discarded.
Okay.
So the way that we're going to play really quick, and this is also new for Adam and Chris, is we're going to be playing with the trade route, which is a shared draft. It works as you would expect a draft to work. So after you play your turn, you are able to draft a card one at a time. After you draft a card, like if I picked this card, you would replace it immediately, and you are able to draw back up to your maximum hand size, so 5 cards. If there's nothing you want in this draft, you can always draw a random basic card. The same restrictions apply as before, so you have to have a town hall before you can draw intermediate cards. You can draw or draft 1 intermediate at a time, and you have to have a castle to do advanced. You can only draw or draft 1 advanced card once you reach that. So it works the same. It's just there's a draft to replace the random draws.
Okay.
Okay. So
Cool.
I have 3 actions. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to place a forest here for my first action. I'm going to place a house here for my second action, and a field here for my third. So those are all base cards, so there's no cost to those.
Nice.
And then, so I can draw these from the trade area 1 at a time. You said, right, Michael?
Yep. So you'll draw a card and then replace it.
Okay. Well, I am going to draw, I think, this lumber camp for my first one. And then we'll replace it. Oh, look at that fisherman.
Oh, he's looking really nice.
Yeah, the problem is I don't have a lot of metal right now, so that is a hard card to get, maybe.
Got it.
I'm actually going to pick
and
up
that and just real quick, that cost is in the top left corner. Metal, population, and wood. Is that correct?
Right. And again, I have 2 of those. So I have the wood from my forest and the population for my house.
Correct.
I could still build that card because I can trade in one of my riches card to another person who would have a metal.
Oh, who would be producing metal? So it may behoove your opponents to not produce metal this turn and wait to do that, so they're not helping you.
Right. Yeah. Well, again, none of you are going to help me right now because
you don't have anything.
Right.
Or do it so you can get riches cards.
Right. Got it. Oh yeah, that's true. Okay.
In my fourth, I am going to pick up this Oracle, I think.
Nice.
I think, Michael, aren't riches cards are like a victory point at the end?
Yeah, riches cards are a victory point, and nobody can deny that trade. If you want to borrow 1 resource from them, you would give them the riches. They can't say no, and then you would get the resource type for the rest of the turn, as long as they have it in play.
In a 4-player game, is there a limitation of how, do the players that you're trading with have to be adjacent to you?
Nope.
Left to right? Okay. You could anybody at the table. Got it.
Right. And one rich is used per turn. So you could borrow one resource type per turn.
Okay. Very good.
So my turn is done. Are we going clockwise to Will?
I'd imagine so, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I am going to build some pretty houses. We're going to put them down here. That's where they belong in the village, I think.
South of town.
I'm going to put a happy mountain over here.
No,
in the
that
top.
road doesn't connect.
Stop it. Don't do that. Don't mess with me like that.
Oh wait, it's not tile laying month. That's
Some strong mountains. I'm going to Bob Ross this game right now.
Happy trees.
Some happy trees we'll put in. So I can place up to how many cards? 3 cards?
3 actions, right? And an action is playing a card or drafting a basic card or drawing a random basic card.
And then I got this angry militiaman.
Nice.
He's not happy with the towns that move next door. So
he has quite a beard. This militia.
He does.
He has he's got like a interesting thing. It's like scruff but not scruff. it's an in between. But yeah. So angry militiaman. All right. So now that I placed 3 cards, those are my 3 actions. Correct.
Correct.
Discard phase. What does that mean for me? I
you
could
can discard any number of cards and then draft and draw back up to 5.
Okay.
So again, like the beginning, if it's a card you don't want to play, you don't think you're going to use it right away or whatever, you can toss that.
Okay. And then deck check, nothing's going to happen this early in the game. And then phase 4, I get to draw a card. Is that correct?
Correct. And with the trade route, if you play with the trade route board, then you can have the choice of drafting or drawing.
Okay. I like that. I always like an offer. I would offers make me happy.
And so if the basic cards are these 6 right here. It's kind of hard to see with this, but these have a brown border around them. Okay. Intermediates are these 3, and then the advanced card is in this corner. So right now we're all on the basic deck, so we're limited to those options. I'm
gonna draw one off the top here.
Yep.
And that what is it here? The lumber mill looks like a beast to purchase.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And I believe that concludes my turn. Oh, I get all the way back to 5. I get to draw up to 5.
Yep.
From any mix?
Yep. Yeah, you can mix and match. Yep.
These 6, because you currently have...
Just from the cards that Chris so beautifully drew around to highlight.
I'm replacing Jeff's beautiful art with a brown line.
Really smart. It looks great on camera.
Yeah, it looks great on camera, and it looks great on my screen.
Production value is super high here.
I think you glitched out my screen because now that brown floats all around my screen. So thanks for that, Chris.
Good.
More hacks from Chris, ladies and gentlemen.
This is why I win so many games. I just hack the crap out of it.
Yeah. There's ink all over my cards. Jeez.
I guess I'll take this guy, and then I get one more card. I'll just take another one from there. So then I'm back up to 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and is that it now?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, cool.
Adam's turn.
Ooh, Thor is on the board. All right.
Oh, good. Thor. You know what? It's again. I think the thing to remember is it's Thor with the axe, not with the hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Infinity War Thor.
So I'm gonna play my field in the northwest quadrant.
I love how you are putting mountains on mountains, and I'm just like, let's build a house on these.
We'll play some mountains, and we'll play a market, which gives me one, just whatever resource, right, Michael? I want per turn.
Right, you can choose one resource type for that turn, and it'll remain that resource that turn.
I will say this was probably one of my favorite cards that first time we played because it really allowed some versatility that I didn't have to worry about too much.
Yeah,
it allows you to choose a resource per turn.
Yeah. So again, if you don't have that mountain, you've got one with the. So it's a nice filler. I just want to point out in chat that Jeff, the artist of this game, said that my random art editions gave him ideas. So just highlighting.
All right,
clearly,
you guys can see my eye roll, but I think I heard eye roll during that.
It's like patting a little kid on the top of the head.
Good job, Chris. You're so good.
All
God.
right.
Good stuff.
I'm here just to make you all happy. It's fine.
Yes.
2, 4. Wait, what's that one? Ooh.
Oh, the lumber. Better than Thor.
Yeah, I can't afford them though.
Can you afford him?
All right,
The
your turn, Michael.
So I'll follow suit and play Mountain on the Mountains. That might have some interesting effects later on. If we're all stacked on the mountains.
Nice strong mountain.
Mountainception.
So then I'll play houses there, and I'm going to play a storehouse. So a storehouse gives one hand size, additional hand size. So that will mainly affect how many basic cards you're able to get,
Nice.
since intermediate and advanced are always limited, but it'll allow me to draw back up to 6.
Very nice.
And hold on to some cards, right? Like, again, you don't maybe have to trash a card to make space because...
Sure, you might want to hang on to more. Sure. So I'll draft this through.
Oh, there's a leader, and he's taking it. This also happened to me game 1. Everyone got people, and I don't have any people.
you just like rework the land with the invisible workforce.
Right. Don't mind me and my invisible workforce. It's fine.
That's right. That's right.
There's the smelter. I want the smelter. Okay. So question here, Michael. If I were to play a card such as the Oracle. Now I get to draw 3 and keep 1. If at the end of the turn I exceed the hand limit of 5, I can still stay at that, correct? I just can't draw to replace.
Correct. Yeah. If you're above your hand size, you don't have to discard down. You just can't draw new cards until you're below your max hand size.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah. So the Oracle lets me draw 3 basics and keep 1 of those. And so I'm going to draw 3. They're going to be my right hand cards here. So
we're all watching very closely.
Right. Everyone make sure I don't cheat. I cheat. I mean, I cheat a lot of times, but like,
yeah, everybody's watching right now. So Chris is like, he's really
mindful.
mindful.
It here first. You heard it here first.
Throw out some jokes. A little bit of
I
deception.
do get an action for that. So while it was an action to spin that card, I get the card lets me take an action as well.
Oh, okay, got it.
Right, yeah.
I'm seeing some Dominion mechanics in here.
Yeah, it's definitely some influence from Dominion.
Well, wasn't I was gonna say, wasn't that what Michael folks were telling you? It felt very like Settlers of Catan meets Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, certainly with the 4 resource types, kind of resource management mixed with some of the events and interactions, the Dominion and some other games too that I like. So
adding the offer is very like deck building esque / Dominion esque, and I love it. I love that there's an offer now.
Right, and
sorry, go ahead.
And the new cards that'll go over too, it adds an extra layer using the shared draft and some more player interaction too. So it's kind of a neat concept with those new cards we'll go over after.
Sounds good.
Cool.
I'm going to, and so I still have 3 actions because again, the survival tactics gave me another action. I'm going to give a riches card to Will. I'm going to borrow from your mountainception, mountain on mountain.
Sure thing.
And I'm going to use that mountain plus the population for my houses to create a lumber camp. So that's action 1.
Nice.
And then I'm going to use that population and the 2 wood it generates to build a foreman. And I'm going to use my 3rd action to actually place a mountain. And you know, this mountain's going to go into the valley because that's where rocks are made. I could not. I mean, I could have, and I didn't want to do it that way. I should have done.
Yeah,
that's a phenomenal min max right there.
he wanted to show the mechanic off.
That's
right. I'm creating good content for it. You know, y'all talk about how I win too much, so this is my way of
it's the
handicap for myself.
Self-handicapping. Got it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm here to produce great content, you all.
So, Michael, what are the chances of a stretch goal with a brown, purple, and yellow Crayola so people can draw their own.
Did someone take away my colors?
We'll include the crayon in the box, maybe.
Okay.
Whatever you
40,000.
did covered half of my screen in brown. I had to get rid of
Did
it.
it really? I thought you were kidding.
And every place I moved was covering cards.
So I am going to take this lumber and flip this and see what we get.
So before I hit my turn, and as he's doing his thing over there, could I attack people?
There is a way to attack, yes. So there are certain cards that let you attack, and attacks in this game are unique in that they attack all players at the same time.
Oh,
so you
like
will take,
King of Tokyo type thing.
You'll keep your attack value from your kingdom, so all your person cards plus whatever's on the attack card versus everyone else's defense stat. So there's walls and there are person cards that give different defense. And if your attack is higher than the defense of the victim, then you take a riches from them. If they don't have any riches, then you don't get anything. There's no consequence. And defense wins on ties. Now, the alternative is if your attack is high enough without the attack card, you can use 2 actions to do an attack.
Okay.
Instead of using a card.
And that doesn't give you a bonus like the event attack cards.
Correct. Right. So it's just purely the strength on your board versus the defense on everyone else's.
For my last one, I drew blinds from the deck here. So, Will, it's your turn.
Okay. So let's see. I'm going to play a field. Play the field. By using a trade card to get a resource, does that take an action for me to do that? This would be my second action technically, or no?
No, it does not take an action.
You want to give it back to me, Will?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it back to you because I don't want you to come up with an excuse at the end of the game saying that you handicapped yourself against us. So, and then I am going to build myself a great farm.
That's a pretty good accent.
Do I have to build him on somebody else? I do, don't I? I can't build him, can I?
So the level 2 person doesn't have to be on a level 1, correct?
Oh no, I could just put the great farmer out there. Great.
Yep. So only if it has a stacking icon in the top right, and those are only the resource land cards.
Okay. I'm gonna play my Oracle as this would be my third action, right? Playing the Oracle card?
Yeah.
Which gives me another action.
Yeah.
So I get to draw 3 basic cards and keep 1. So I'll just draw right from the top instead of doing. So basically, that's a rule change because you could go from the offer as well, or do you have to go from the deck?
Not with the Oracle. No.
Okay, you go right from the deck. Got it.
Yeah, some of the new cards that we'll get into explore the draft with actions, but the base cards don't. Yep.
Okay, I'll put this card. This goes into the discard, right? Or does it go back into the deck?
Yeah. Yep.
And then I believe I have 2 wheat and a mountain. Yes, 2 wheat.
Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I'm going to drop that leader down.
Nice.
I like that guy.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's got that hammer.
I was going to say, you had Hammer Guy last time.
Yeah.
Right, Michael?
Yeah, yep.
And then I get to draw 3 cards. Is that correct? Yes.
Yeah, draft or draw. Yep.
So I'll draft 1.
Oh. Just the 6. Just the 6 over here.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
That's why I put the brown in there.
Oh, the brown was the separation.
So the 6 basic. Yeah.
That never happened.
That's all I saw on the screen, was just that brown line. So, all right. So I think now that the people are there, I can't really fill those spots anymore, right? Or what do I stack on top of them?
So for no action cost, you can remove a person, or you could remove and discard a person card or a land card, as long as it doesn't have a plague.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to swap out person cards, you can discard. And your Great Farmer and your Leader are both level 2. So you've got 2 level 2 cards in play. Once you get to level 3 level 2 cards, you're able to put the Town Hall in their center, and then you'll be able to draw 1 intermediate card per turn, and then the rest basic.
Now, Michael, I was going to ask you a question. Will just drew it, but the Black Hills card, I noticed that you have a couple of those basic land cards that have like 2 starting resource, but they're still a base piece. What was the inspiration? Was that just a balance, or?
Yeah, it was just some variation. So there's just 1 of each type that are a double, 1 of each resource type.
Are they more rare, like the field and the stream? Is the stream more rare than the field?
Yeah, there's 1 of the double resource base for 10 normal ones.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw my message on the bottom there. You can go ahead, Adam.
Okay.
I like the design of the actual. Is this what the manual is going to look like ish?
Yep.
For the rule codex.
It took your card.
And so this has got the different states for the pages.
Michael, your card was here, right? Your house.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, sorry. It was my screen. It was too close to my hand, and I pulled it instead.
No problem.
So I'm seeing the design. Is it like a medieval tapestry?
What was that?
The art from the rule book looks like a medieval tapestry that sort of like runs.
Yeah, the illuminated manuscript is what he modeled it after, and
Awesome.
There's some play immediately cards in the intermediate and advanced too, and they have the same kind of illuminated manuscript feel, and he used watercolor. So most of these are drawn by hand, and then he digitally paints them. And
They look phenomenal.
For the play immediately cards, he hand watercolored them. And so they have a unique feel, and it's pretty cool. I really like how and it definitely stands out because some play immediately's you're like, oh, I didn't realize I had this play immediately card, but because the artwork's so unique, it helps it stand out. So.
Absolutely,
Michael. I like the draft so much better than the top drawing.
Cool. Hey,
However, I still cannot for the life of me get a level 2 card. The last one I drew was that mine level 2.
Yeah.
All right, it's your turn, Michael.
It definitely, adds more strategy. You have more choice, but it's not a gimme. You're not going to just breeze through the game.
It's not unlimited access to everything.
Right. You'll still have to try. So.
Your illustrator. I'm just going to go based on his name on chat.
Jeff.
Porter art. Jeff
Porter, yes.
Yeah, Jeff just laid out a little secret within his drawing. He says, yeah, beards are nice. It helps hide mistakes when drawing faces.
Yes. There you go. It's a tip.
So, pro tip for any artists out there.
Inspiring art, up and coming artist.
So the most of the person cards, he can correct me on this too. Most of the person cards are not the final art. We are waiting for some stretch goals. Some might have, some might turn into female options if people purchase if they want female names associated. And we are offering a portrait pledge where you can get your portrait on the game. So obviously the artwork on those cards aren't final.
Great.
Yeah, Kit's gonna love that because again, Kit is our resident. I purchase stretch or different levels so that I can be in the shows.
Nice.
Will you make a Cabot card? That's the important question. Yeah, Porter. Start drawing Cabots in your free time. It's like a cat rabbit type thing. So get used to that because kids can be buying that goal.
I am, yeah. Yep, so I played an Oracle, drew 3, discarded 2, and then played my final action, so I'm on the...
Oh, this
Will's recommendations not represent the recommendations of Geekspiel.
Jeff said he has some Cabots in another game.
Well, all right.
So
my turn's over, yep.
Okay, I'm going to start then. So I will play this Lumber because who doesn't want to play that? And I won't play that because here, order matters, right? I'm going to play, you got to watch me, this Mine, which is a population in a lumber. For action 1. Action 2, I'm going to play my Lumber because I need 2 metal. and a person. I guess I had a 4-man. I apologize. Counting is hard.
Counting is hard.
Folks, I'm here to provide entertainment, and it's just what I do, so it's fine. And then I'm going to play another field. So those are my 3 actions. I have officially created a couple of level 2s, though. So I have 2 people that are both level 2s. I have the lumber camp and the mine. I've actually exceeded the 3. So
Yep, you got
I get to start the level 2 club.
Ridiculous.
So wait, how did you trigger that? What'd you do?
So it's 3 level 2s, right, Michael?
Yep. And that could be land or person cards.
Oh, okay.
So my lumber camp and my mine are both level 2s, and then both of my people are level 2s.
Oh, so I'm unintentionally keeping pace with you. Good, high fives.
Yes, you are close. You are 1 short though. So
Yeah.
So I get to draw 1 from the intermediate draft or the intermediate face down, right? Because in I'm not discarding. So in the deck check, I am at level 2. So the draw phase, because I'm at that level 2, I get 1 intermediate. I'm actually going to pick up that lost artifact.
So real quick question, Michael, we talked about theme earlier, and you said this was a more recent, creation in your mind. What influences did you draw from? I mean, other than the mechanics from the games we mentioned before, what about the theme itself? What caused that?
So a fan of real-time strategy games as a kid, Age of Empires, and in some regards, like the Warcraft strategy series of just building, getting resources. Having like the people is like managing different units and things. So it kind of drew from there. And how can you really simplify that into, a game mechanic that's fun as a board game and it's not too heavy. But still enough strategy where, it's a lot of fun. So.
Yeah. I like the name drop of Age of Empires. That was actually a game that I grew up with as well.
Cool. Yeah.
I remember playing that and Command and Conquer Red Alert on a 56K.
Right.
And my parents.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. For those who can't hear producer Matt, he's talking about how he already name dropped Age of Empires.
Yeah, he's bragging that he did it
first, folks.
Before the creator. Okay, but I think that's great. Okay, but I think that's great that you drew from some of the childhood games you loved. I could see some of the influences in the characters and some of the design too.
Sure, yeah. Teams.
How are we doing over there, Chris? I mean, you ready for me?
I sent you a message. Yes, you were ready to go.
Oh, you sent me a message?
At the bottom.
Okay. My chat was hidden, sorry.
No.
Okay. So let me ponder. I've been pondering for a while.
Are you going to join me in level 2 land like you bragged just a second?
I am. I'm definitely going to be joining you in level 2 land. I just have to figure out exactly how I'd like to do so. Well, I guess the first thing I was to do, I'll turn that mountain into a mine. And now I'm in level 2 land. Then I will place the Black Hills in the north. To the north!
I like this, what is this, like a hairy bull? Like I don't know what hairy cow.
Did you just call that a hairy bull?
I mean, it's like a
that's a question for Jeff.
Yes.
AKA a yak?
Is it a yak? Is that...
What?
Is that a hairy bull?
I apologize, folks. Chad, I'm here for you. I'm here to just give you content to make fun of me for.
Chris,
I'm from Missouri too, and I don't know what he's talking about.
Look at this card. The Black Hills have a hairy bull on them.
Let's just keep playing.
It's a buffalo, a yak, literally actual animal name.
It's a Highland cow.
Highland cow from the illustrator.
There we go.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for
Jeff. Making me not seem too ridiculous.
Right. The Highland cow, aka hairy bull.
The hairy bull. It's a Scottish cow.
Yes. All right. So, oh god. Okay. Moving forward. So I placed 2 cards. I have 1 more action. I am going to. I'm going to do a crude attack.
What?
Dang it.
I attack each player. My damage +2 versus each player's defense. I am rocking
That's
3, 5, 7 damage.
9.
That's your 2, so 9.
Well, no, I was including that. So it's 2. Yeah, it's. Oh wait, do I have another
2,
one?
2, 3,
I do.
which is 7.
Got it.
Plus 2 is 9.
9 damage.
Yep, you hit me.
I have
Got me
3
too.
shields, so yeah.
Your riches, give them to me.
We're just trading riches back and forth, Will. It's fine.
And then, does that card count as an action? Yes.
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 So that would be that part of the turn for me, and I now have to get some more cards. Some more cards.
And you can upgrade, since you've hit 3 level 2s. You can upgrade to Town Hall and get 1 intermediate, and then the rest basic.
Which are these 3 right here, Will.
I could draw from the
Or
intermediate.
random.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the rest are going to be 2 more from here. So. Okay, we'll just do 2 of these, 2 randos. And
Michael, is there a way to
turn,
clear the board here?
Right.
Yep. So in the new cards in the next stretch goal that we'll go over, yeah, there's a way to clear out the cards in the draft.
Okay.
Nice. So I have 2 woods, 1 from my market, 1 from the woodsman, and a person. And then, Michael, as an action, I can draw
A basic
card, right?
card. Yep.
Okay.
So with the draft, that makes it a pretty strong choice if you've got nothing to play,
Well,
or if you want a better card to play. I should
yeah,
say.
so action 2, grabbing the mine. Action 3, playing said mine. It's the only way I can get level 2 cards. All right. And then we'll do some drafting. Oh boy.
I am in dire need of wood.
You can
As
give
I-
me some riches, and I will have some wood.
I can only do that once per turn. I would gladly return 3 riches to you for 3 wood, and then rate it back again.
Okay, but you get it 1 at a time, not 3 at a time.
That's what I'm saying.
Over to you, Michael.
Okay. So I'll play forest. Brings me to 2 wood, so I'm going to build a wall. And then I'm going to play a steel card, and I am going to steal my riches back.
That's not cool, man.
Unless you have a survival tactics and want to use it to block that.
I don't.
Okay.
Right, because that card has a reaction kind
Correct.
of component, correct?
Yep. So a survival tactics will block any negative event played on yourself. And then I will, let's see. Yeah, I'm still looking for level 2s as well.
Michael, how come I've only seen 2 level 2 cards the whole game? And Chris is like, I have too many level 2 cards. I'm like, turn number 2.
We already know why. Calm down there.
All right, that's my turn.
Okay. So I am going to play my Lost Artifact for my first action, which lets me either draw 2 intermediate cards or take a card from any discard pile. I'm actually going to do the draw 2 cards. I'll take this Lost Artifact first. Because can I draft or no on that, Michael, with that card?
With the last artifact, no, it's just drawing.
Okay. I apologize. Let me draw on 2 then.
So for the cards that affect the draft for future reference, they'll usually say, if it includes the option, they'll say basic or intermediate draft.
Okay. Sorry. Counting numbers, counting cards. Here we go.
Count numbers, count cards. Very good. Very good.
I'm going to place a Great Wall because with the lumber and the lumber camp, that is the wood, and then this foreman and the mine, that is the ore that I need.
Everybody's building up their defenses now after somebody attacked. I see how it is.
Right.
I see how it is.
And then I am going to draw a card.
Sorry, I'm chuckling at some of the stuff in chat. You guys are doing great tonight. Thank you. Brightening up my day.
And I'm going to get rid of a couple of cards so that I can draw things.
So where are you comfort level at this point within the campaign? I mean, you're over $30,000 beyond your goal. Where does that put you mentally? Like, are you nervous about the back end? Are you just sort of like elated right now that it's doing so well? Where would you put yourself, Michael?
Yeah, so we're really happy with where everything's at, and obviously we prepared for any case. So if we just barely met the goal, or if we really exceeded it, we'd be prepared. So our illustrator has a good relationship with our manufacturer, and he did a previous board game called Xenophera, and he was sharing some artwork, and they had a really great experience with that manufacturer, and so we've been in contact with them well ahead of the Kickstarter to get all the details sorted out. Yeah, I think it's your turn by the way.
Thank you.
And then we're going to be using Quartermaster Logistics for the fulfillment, and they've got a fantastic reputation, and they've been great so far. So we're excited to get get to that stage where we get everything manufactured and sent out to all the backers. So
that's phenomenal. Yeah, it seems like this period of how much time do you have left on the campaign, by the way?
There's 1 week.
Okay, so you still have a week to go, and you're already doing this well. How many stretch goals do you have beyond what you've already hit at this point on your page?
So there's some more. We add them as soon as they get unlocked, kind of for a hype factor. But
okay.
And
but you have like this running list in the back of your head, or like on like a spreadsheet.
They're all planned out based on how much our costs would increase by printing additional cards, and all of the or the amount of work for the illustrator Jeff is kind of how we gauge those. So the first stretch goals were kind of material costs, additional artwork. So each card has unique card art, like all of the woodsmen have different card art instead of all of them looking the same, that sort of thing.
Will, you can't draft that.
Why?
Are you done with your turn already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I apologize. I thought you were. I didn't see all your other actions.
Yeah, my last action was playing that card to let me draw two basic cards, and then I drafted just a lumber mill.
Perfect. You're right. I'm wrong.
So this card does have draw a basic card from the discard pile. So
I opted for just two randos.
Gotcha, right. But it's a good card when there is a particular base resource card you need, or level 2 cards you need to advance.
Yep.
So it's a good one to know about.
Oh, I guess that is something I probably should have done. Do you mind? Nah, forget it. Forget it. I just realized that.
Right. Sure. It's also one of those things where there's definitely elements of this game where after the first time you play it, you'll realize, oh, I could have done that. Oh, I could use this tool differently.
Yep.
And it's neat to see how, especially people that have play tested several times, it's neat to see how they learn the mechanics and look at the tools differently the second time.
Yeah, and I just realized that when I drafted that lumber mill, it's a level 3, and I don't have a level 1 or 2 lumber land piece out yet. So
right.
Sort of fix that next turn. I will have to fix that. And I should have gone, rather than the random, I should have gone with something specific. But you live, you learn.
All right. Are you good, Will?
Sorry, Adam, real quick. It sounds like we might be dropping a few frames here. So, folks, we apologize. Our producer, Matt, is in the middle of a storm. So if we cut out, bear with us. We got to back up, but just bear with us.
Poor guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not
here.
really here. He's just.
I wasn't worried
talking.
about you. I was worried about your equipment. No.
No.
Is your turn over, Will?
Yeah. I'm sorry. That was it.
No problem.
So I know we talked about like a stat tracker in the interview before we sat down at the table. Is that something that, or an abacus?
An abacus.
The ultra premium abacus. You can work with Wormwood and put together a $5,000 package for your game.
Right,
you joke about that.
The trogdor, right?
Right. Then Wormwood's coming out with an abacus here in a couple of weeks. So
of course they are. Just like I backed the Trogdor project that's on Kickstarter because I was always a Strong Bad fan, and there's a Wormwood level for like $5,000 for a Trogdor game, and I was like, okay, if I had that much money to spend, I don't know.
Find something better.
Yeah, I would be buying that personally.
All right. I still have one more level. No, wait.
Nope, you've got him.
I got him. Woohoo! Oh my gosh. All right. So I am in level 2 land.
Catching up. Look out.
So remind me, Michael. I get one level.
Yes, one intermediate.
Intermediate. Yep. Okay.
So one of these.
What should I take?
At this point, I'm gonna reach out to all you guys out in chat land. If you guys have any questions for Michael about the project or anything else he's working on, what his favorite color is, any of that kind of stuff.
Is anybody else in the audience curious? What would Chris call these animals in the quarry card?
Let me look first.
Which card?
Those are oxen.
Oh,
yeah, that sounds like a real animal.
That's a normal thing.
Those are giant wombats with horns.
Those are work wombats.
those are mining wombats. Yeah.
Before I take them, I'm gonna discard a couple of cards. Forgot to do that. I'll take this one and a couple of basics.
I wanted to point out too on this card, the farm hand. My wife was the portrait that Jeff used, or the reference photo that Jeff used in our dog that you heard barking earlier. Is the dog reference of the border collie.
Okay. That is cool.
Did you actually make her dress up like that with a shepherd's
a shepherd's crook? Look at me knowing words.
Oh, Chris in from the making up
downtown with the shepherd's crook. Here we go.
Downtown with shepherd knowledge.
I do have a beard. I'm pretty much a shepherd. It's fine.
Oh, that's all it takes.
Kitsume, welcome to the stream.
Yeah.
I think you might want to take a look at Jeff Porter's aka Porter Arts project with Cabots.
Yeah, we've already talked about Cabots tonight.
Yep. All right, Michael, it's back to you.
Okay. So I use Survival Tactics. It's the React card, and you can optionally use it to draw 2 basic cards plus 1 action.
Got it.
So I'm going to take that and play.
In Survival Tactics is your only counter card in the game?
Yes, correct.
Got it.
So that'll give me 3 actions again. So my first action will be play Lumberkin. Then I'm going to draft the leader for my second action, and then I'll go ahead and play the leader. And I will be up to Town Hall.
Do you feel like you have to do that, Michael?
To get to Town Hall?
Oh, that's not your wife's card. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't my wife's card.
I was wondering if you felt obligated to like.
Michael, question: How did you draft that card?
You can use 1 action to draft.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
A card, only basic. Okay. You can use 1 action to draft a basic or draw a random basic card.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So we can still use that draft action to pull, or that draw action.
Just the basic card. Yep, absolutely.
It's the text on the cards that don't let you do that, correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For the event cards, unless they specifically say draft a card.
Okay.
So Chris, do me a solid and reveal a forest. Level 1, please.
Is it my turn?
Soon.
I've still got to draft here, so I'll pick.
Soon. Oh yeah, that's right. But no, I don't want you. No, get some of those basics out of there. Is there an option to wipe the offer? By the way, like could I pay 2 actions to wipe the offer?
So in the upcoming cards, there's going to be 6 new cards in total, and a lot of them deal with the draft. And yes, there are 2 that help cycle through the draft pretty rapidly if you wish. So
and that's what these cards over here. That will be newer cards.
Yep. So there's a pile right over here.
Okay, because I really want to wipe the offer right now.
Unfortunately, you can't.
Stop it, Chris. Don't tell me what I can't do.
Yeah, that's my turns up. So.
Okay. I'm going to try to tell you what to do.
Your work wombats.
My work wombats. They're great. They're just solid working creatures.
Oh, chat! You guys are killing it tonight. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to use an action to play this farm on one of my fields. I am going to place a trader, and then I am going to use the 3 wheat plus a wheat from the trader and the 4 metal I have from the smelter and the mine, and then the 2 lumber I have from the camp to upgrade my house to a church. Take
what?
me to church.
That's exactly how that song goes, by the way.
Yeah. I'm here for your all's entertainment. I'm here for you, chat. Okay, here we go. So
it sounds like the ambulance my kid has as a toy.
It's like Gil. You all missed it. Gil a couple of
police force.
Gil a couple of weeks ago with his when we did escape plan with his helicopter noises and his fast car noises. He wouldn't play it on stream, but when our play test we did beforehand, he was like just
he was really into it.
Yeah. Okay, so I need to draw up, I think.
Michael, were any other person cards based on people from your life?
I think not yet. So
the sergeant works at the convenience store on the corner.
I'm done with
you'll have to ask Jeff for that if any of them have.
That's true, Jeff. You're out there in Chatland. Any inspiration for some of the characters or cards you've drawn?
Will's leader kind of looks like, I don't know, one of the Allman Brothers, maybe.
The Allman Brothers, what?
Look at him.
All right, well, you're good to go.
Classic rock star. Is that what we're talking here?
Yeah.
All right, so it's my turn. Please let there be wood out there. That is not a person. Nope, 2 people there are wood, and nothing else I can do. Yeah, he will, but the woodsman will make wood for me, but I need it to be a land thing.
He's got some.
Right, yeah, he had drafted the...
I drafted a lumber mill, which is what I'm really good.
Give me your treasure, and I'll give you some wood.
Give me your treasure.
I don't think it works like that.
I don't think it does. Actually, hold on. Let me think for a second. Let me think about this for one moment.
Well, what he's talking though is creating a base land.
He wants the base land.
Right. Well, I'm pretty bad at this game.
Our producer's over here heckling.
He's heckling me while we're playing this game. This is phenomenal. I guess. Can I put anything down?
Yes, Adam. In the Middle Ages, wombats did pull carts. All right. Sorry, I was quoting.
I am going to. So if I don't, my 3 actions are: I could draw a card, right?
Correct.
A basic card.
Yeah, you could draw a random or draft a basic. Draw a random basic or draft a basic. Yeah.
Okay. Let's do that. We'll draw a random. Oh. Oh, delicious. What we got over here, huh? What's happening?
Get your little hand away from my stuff. Yeah, I know you got a plague card. Keep your plague cards. Keep your plague cards away. Okay. So you're going to put it on my mine here?
Yeah.
So the plague card for the viewers.
Yeah, just to show you guys how it works.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
purely
right,
why he wants
right.
to highlight right here.
Yes.
Totally. Go ahead.
Just like
Michael,
Chris
explain.
gave you the riches to show how that mechanic worked.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just trying to show off mechanics.
Right. So yeah, it'll reduce the output of that mine by 1 metal, reduces attack and defense by 1, and reduces victory points by -2 temporarily. He can remove it by discarding 2 out of 3 of his people. If he discards 2 person cards in the same turn, even if he's replacing them, it will remove all plagues from the board, like losing 2/3 of your population.
Oh.
Or the religious sacrifice card gets rid of plague cards if played on that tile.
And then
Yeah,
I
but the
guess
religious sacrifice card has a little bit more to that too, because I have to remove the top
Correct.
card on that, correct?
Yep, so the religious sacrifice will remove the plague, it'll remove the top card on that position, and every other person has to remove the top card from their board in the same location.
so the okay, that's where the VP. That's what I was wondering. I guess I'll do my last action. I will play a mine on top of my
Yep.
Black Hills. It doesn't change my resource count, but it does allow me for a victory point later in the game. And then I'm going to discard. I could discard any number of cards I
as you
want.
want.
Got it.
Yep.
So we'll get rid of this little child laborer for some reason that was put in there.
Poor kid.
Poor kid. Look at him. He's happy. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, District 7.
You can put a child miner in as long as you make them smile, right?
That's right. Yeah, you can throw child labor in there as long as they're happy they're doing it, right?
It's a different era.
Different era.
Kingdoms.
It's just a different area.
And then, so this fisherman, I'm going to put back, and then I could draw. Now I could get 1 intermediate still because of my situation, right?
Correct. Yeah, you can always draft 1 intermediate per turn.
But I think I'm going to draft.
And so I'll also highlight Lost Artifact too. This lets you take a discard from any pile, advanced, intermediate, or basic.
Oh, yeah, I'll take that. And then I could take 2 more. I guess I'll just go random here and hope for the best. Okay. Then that's the end of my turn.
All right. So I'm going to play a level 2 lumber.
Nice.
And what was I going to do? Oh yeah, I'm going to attack everyone.
And yes,
What's the strength?
So I've got
what?
9 total.
And I have
Who's got 9 shields?
2, 4, 6.
I do.
7.
Dang it.
I do not.
Okay.
7. So you hit me.
You get
So I have my shields from my people, but I also played this Great Wall.
The Great Wall. Yeah.
Did you play the Great Wall the last game?
I had the Great Wall. I played the Tower.
That's a good card.
Yeah, the Great Wall and the Tower are some of my favorite card art.
So we got an answer back from Jeff Porter, by the way, in chat. I'm just going to announce this for anybody who might not have chat rolling on the side of their screen. Yes, he got a lot of inspiration from 80s rockers, and he notes that the Duke, which is actually in my hand right now, looks like Frank Zappa. And I'm going to go ahead and reveal that for you guys. And he really does.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay,
So-
I got to ask him, who's the swordsman?
Which one?
That guy's a character. The one on the board right now.
It looks like, what's that, Vigo from Ghostbusters?
Yeah, there you go. Chris Lambert, is that his name? He also played Raiden in Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Oh,
Classic.
Wait, was that Christopher Lambert? That played? No, he didn't play that
Didn't
character in Ghostbusters. No,
I don't know.
no. Christopher Lambert, come on, he was the original.
Yeah, don't let the
Whose
accent
turn is
throw you. It's mine. I have 1 more action.
Oh, okay. Not to throw us off that. I just am really confused.
Yeah, it's fine.
Sorry,
So
so
I'm
we
going
got sidetracked.
Yep.
Sidetracked.
My 3rd action, I'm playing this. Lets me draw 3 basics and gives me an additional action, so I'll do that.
You got to keep only one of those basics.
And by the way, Geekspiel, you just made a mistake. You started punning, especially rhyming puns, and Molly's now going to go off on a tangent. You just activated Darth Molly's superpower.
Puns.
So that is my turn.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I think I want Vigo.
You want
Nice.
And
whoa. You can take some extra cards with that.
I'll take Steel.
Nice.
All right. Back to you, Matthew. Michael.
I'll throw a farmhand down in a field to get up to 4 food, 4 population, and 2 wood. And I will play a quarry on top of my mountain.
Nice.
And that was my turn. So I will discard down and draft one of the schools. And
one more time, I'll give you another quick call out to anybody in chat. If you guys have any questions from Michael related to the game or not, except for like his personal address, I think we'll stay away from that. He might give a PO box. We'll see.
Right.
But yeah, any question you guys might have about the game and what he's doing development wise, let us know.
All right, your
you
turn.
Complete?
Yep, I am.
All right, I'm going to play this Lost Artifact here. Let me draw 2. I'm going to pick the 2 intermediate guard option. I am going to
This is a slow build.
make sure I have all the things I think I have. Will's liking to throw plagues on me and mess things up. Okay, so that was action 1. Action 2 is to build this house. And action 3 is to spin. So I've got my wheat and my food down here from the farm. And then I've got the metal, 2 from the foreman, 1 from the mine, and I'm going to use my trader for the whatever it's called. Actually, so I can discard now, correct? To get rid of that plague.
You can discard 2 person cards in the same.
Do I still get to use the resources on them that turn?
For 1 action. So just the immediate following action, and then they're gone.
Okay.
So if you're replacing a card, you get those resources for that action, and then it's gone.
Okay.
And that's highlighted in the rules and a common question that we've run across in playtesting. And that's the other benefit of a lot of playtesting is you build a lot of the comments and questions and little side notes in your rules.
Where
so know what questions will come up.
Where have you done most playtesting? Where and of the places and outlets you've done playtesting, what do you feel has been the most effective in getting you feedback?
Definitely in person is the best. You can certainly reach more people online. And if you have a good questionnaire, that can be very effective. But in person always, because you can ask questions and observe during gameplay, and you could observe things that people might not tell you afterwards.
Very true.
I am going, just so everyone knows, with the estate, the church, and the Great Wall, I now have 3 level 3s.
Come on.
Well, this helps all of you because one of the points to highlight is that once someone joins the level 3 castle, everyone gets upgraded to drawing 2 intermediate cards a turn, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
He's trying to make us feel better.
I gotta be nice every once in a while.
I gotta get more plague cards. That's what I have to do.
Okay, so I'm gonna discard down. It's a basic, right? Yep.
And now Chris works on his doctoral dissertation.
Right. I'm trying. Gosh, I'm getting a lot of shade from people, but I love it. It's so great. It's my favorite.
just busting. You know
I
that.
love it. I absolutely love it. So that was my 1 advanced card, and I get to draw 2 intermediates. I think I'm going to pick up this Master Builder, one of them.
So it's funny because I'm noticing now that if you focus too heavily on a certain build type early game, now everybody is pretty much moved past the basic cards, and now they're not cycling as freely and readily. And if whatever's out stays out, you're kind of stuck with the randomness. And this is a mechanic that this comes from the offer being a thing now. But now, like I'm looking at my building, and I have a large gap somewhere, and to fill it now, I've just got to go for that randomness in the deck. However, other people might have built more evenly and properly, so they're not even worried about the basic now, and they're looking at the intermediates and the higher level, the advanced.
Correct. Right. Part of that is something you learn as you learn.
Yeah.
Okay, how what mechanics are in the game that are effective,
Yeah.
and but you are right with the staleness of the draft, and that's why it was a focus in some of these cards.
And what happened with? Well, but before there wasn't an offer. It was just you just drew from the decks.
Correct.
Okay, then right there, that's just a phenomenal upgrade, and does so many cool things because you see what's essentially there. The next 6.
Sure, and you can see a path also to what do I need to look for when I get to intermediates.
Correct.
It gives you like we were saying, those objectives to reach. Oh, that's the next objective, playing these big level 3 cards that I can't get now, but now I know what I need to get there. I
just saw what Geekspill wrote by the way in chat, and that's why I'm chuckling right now. Is that a play test note, or are you just salt? It's just salt. I'm forming into a pile of salt right now. But no, honestly, I'm not. I like that. I like when
Will
like I like when I end up in like a frustration point because of a mechanic where I messed up my build, because it shows that there is some sort of balance that exists within that.
Sure, right. You're not going to just draw
Stop it, Matt. The producer in my ear going, Oh boy, whose turn is it?
Is it back to me, Will, or is it?
No, it's
It's my turn. Okay. Now I have to let the hate flow through me and see what I can pull out of this. I will go with the Lost Artifact as my first action. I would love to be able to go after the the intermediate or advanced deck, but I'm going to have to go for. Well, yeah, exactly. But now I'm stuck with this. I'm stuck with a level 1 force when I'd really, how greedy do I want to get is the question. And well, I know I can't. So basically, the ghost inside of my head is telling me that I can't put a level 2 down without having level 1 down. And right now in the search, there is a level 2 force available. So do I get greedy and go for level 2 and hope for a level 1 on my draw? Or do I go for level 1 and then get angry when I don't get a level 2?
You could upgrade directly from 1 to 3.
Oh, I can.
Yes, you just need that base card.
Oh, yep. All right. I'm happy now. Salt has disappeared. So action 2 is placing the forest that I just got. Action 3 is placing the lumber mill over the forest.
Yep, you got it.
And then this basic, is that a basic or intermediate? That's intermediate. So I place that there, and then I draw 1 intermediate, or from the offer, or from intermediate deck. What can I afford here? Some of these are tough, like really tough decisions.
Right.
I don't need the metal of the blacksmith. The stables are not. Yeah, that's an intermediate there too. that gives me a lot of yummy food. Okay. Let's go with the yummy food stables. And then I draw one more basic. Okay. Go ahead, Adam.
All right. We are going to discard Militia and play this beautiful Vigo from Ghostbusters 2.
You're a nice swordsman.
Yep. So 2 metal from this, 2 personalities from this. I'm borrowing a grain from the market. And I should have played this first, but it's fine. I'm going to play this survival for 2 basics and get another action, so I'm back to 3.
Yep.
Actually, I'm back. No, to 2, right? Because that was my second action.
Yeah, because you played the. Yeah.
Okay. And with these cards, do you have to draw out the deck?
Yes.
Okay. So go 1, 2. And I didn't get any cards I wanted. So, in lieu of doing something cool, I'm going to steal a riches from Mr. Will. Because you have the most. That's my only criteria.
Is it? Because Digital Carnage's criteria is whatever I have. He tries to steal.
I could have went there, Chris.
Either way is a good play. Either way is a good play.
I'm desperate to beat you, but you know.
You're desperate to beat me?
Not desperate, but
that's what you said. I'm just using the words that you shared.
I'm just using your own words against you.
You got to really contemplate that word choice before.
All right. So I get 2 intermediate cards now?
Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. And I can draw out the deck, right?
You can draft or draw. Yep. Or mix and match.
Ooh.
That's not diabolical at all.
Not at all. My criteria to get like a castle in the middle is I have to have 3 level 3 buildings.
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
Dang it.
Chris, you are like...
All right, Michael, back to you.
All cylinders here.
So I've got the 4 food, 2 metal, and 4 wood. I'll upgrade my house to a school. Then I'm going to play an attack. I've got 4 attack plus 2, so 6 total attack.
I defend.
Let's see. 2, 4, 5.
2, 3.
Oh, you've got a wall. You've got a wall.
So
I didn't see that.
I got 7. Ha ha.
My wall has defeated you.
All right.
Nice thinking.
Uh-huh.
And
That was Will's. I don't really care.
yeah, right.
It don't matter.
That's what I stole from Will. I knew I was going to be a target already.
And I will draw 2 random intermediates. And then the rest basic.
So I noticed you are keeping no spaces free on your map for land. Is that intentional? Like, is that like a strat that you've sort of go on your own? Because it seems that the 3 of us are sort of keeping spaces open. Are we making a mistake in doing that?
Well, it's a design constraint to have 8 tiles. So, the more you have in play, the more cards you have in play, the more you're getting out of it.
Yeah, that's what I just picked up on that as I'm like looking at the table right now, and you as the designer, full mat, and even Chris, who's kind of killing it right now. Don't ever, like everybody who's watching, don't ever like, even though this is recorded, I've never said this, but Chris is killing it. and right.
Yep.
Right. So it kind of like, yeah, I should have been utilizing more of that.
Did someone draw this?
Yeah, I should have played that immediately. I took it in my hand, didn't really look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, so who has the least amount of metal?
I currently only have 3.
I have 4.
I have 3 as well.
Wait, what did you just play? I'm sorry.
Will has 4.
So every once in a while, there's these cards that are in play immediately, and Adam didn't realize he had it. But this one, the criteria on it is the player who has the least metal gets to keep this card in its end of game scoring, right, Michael?
Oh, okay.
Correct. It gets a victory point at the end of the game. Yep. So who else had 3?
I did. Will, where were you at with metal?
I have 4.
Okay.
I have 4 also.
So the tiebreaker, if resources are tied, are riches. Whoever has the least amount of riches.
That's me. Give me this card.
So the plague ended up getting you across the.
Yes, it did, because I technically had 4, but the plague helped me there. Thanks, Will.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, sorry to interrupt, guys. I think it's still Michael's turn, or
No, Michael finished.
Yeah.
got it.
Okay. So I have to do a little finagling here. I think I've got it. So I am going to use the
Yeah, absolutely. So in the 2-player mode, there are certain cards that you remove to keep the resource scarcity in balance.
Okay.
And there's also a solo mode, which is pretty cool. So for the solo mode, for interested solo gamers, you play your turn as normal. So you'll draw your cards or draft your cards, build your kingdom. Every time you end your turn, you draw 1 card, depending on what level your kingdom is, 1 card for the Shadow Kingdom. And the cards are placed face up to the left. So each turn you take, another card's played face up for the Shadow Kingdom. When you get to intermediate, it starts off just 1 basic card each turn. Then once you reach intermediate, it's 1 intermediate, 1 basic, and then advanced, 1 advanced, intermediate, and basic. And every card gives the Shadow Kingdom what's listed: the resources, the victory points, the attack, the defense. You can attack the Shadow Kingdom, and as long as your attack is higher than all of their active cards' defense, you can just steal a riches from them. If they draw an attack card, it's the same thing. If they have higher attack, you have to give them a riches. And so there's variation in, okay, what is the Shadow Kingdom gonna draw, and how quickly, and then you have the choice. Do I try to build up quickly and try to rush to the end of the game? Do I take my time to build my kingdom up as much as I can? But each turn they're gonna keep getting better and better cards.
Right, and like you said, they end up later in the game, they're in an intermediate and a basic every turn, right?
Yeah.
So like in the beginning, they're just getting a basic every turn. Then once they boost up to intermediate, they're getting an intermediate and a basic every turn. And then when advanced advanced, intermediate, and basic. That's pretty crazy. That's and so how much playtesting did you get to do in the solo mode?
A lot. So it's something that we realized the online community was very interested in, especially on Kickstarter. There's a lot of people who, not some are exclusively like solo games, but some just like to have the option of, hey, I can't find anyone to play, but I want to play this game myself. Maybe I want to learn it, or get familiar with it. And so it's nice to have that option. And we have a lot of fun with it. And the nice thing about it is, of course, the variation of what cards they're going to draw, but there's also just a built-in timer system. They're always going to have a similar number of cards based on how many turns you get. Right. And there's a little bit of variation in the scoring. Certain cards will be more or less points for the Shadow Kingdom, just to keep that balance nice.
Yeah, it's neat. I like how you develop that. You have some.
I was just because this is a little finagling.
Okay.
Correct. So I've got the 4 metal, so the 2 from the foreman, 1 from the mine because of the penalty, and the choose 1 resource, which is random people, and the wood lets me play these stables. I'm gonna discard the lumber and the trader to get rid of the plague, but in its replacement, I'm building that master builder. Now, does the discard 2 to get rid of the plague, is that an action?
Nope, no action to discard.
Okay, so I'm going to put those in this discard. I believe that's what they were. Yep. And then I have one more action, and so I am going to. I have the 4 population, 2 wood, and 4 wheat to play this quarry here. All right, so I draw 1 advance, and what intermediates are out here? Draw 2 intermediates. That's my turn. Will, go ahead.
Okay, so let's see here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to. I have to remove one of these guys as an action, right?
No action.
No action required. Okay, I'm getting rid of my militiaman. I'm putting down a duke.
Nice.
Make sure I have the resources. I'm good. Yeah. And so that's 1 action. 2 actions. I'm going to pay 1 riches to our boy over here, Chris.
Yeah, give me those riches.
To take another mount or another forest, giving me 4, so I could play stables. And that's my last action.
Cool.
And then finally, 3 cards.
And so you have actually advanced.
Oh, I have? I got 3 now?
Yep, for the Duke.
Oh, the Duke. There he is.
Yep.
Boom. Castle.
And so, 1 intermediate, 2 advanced, the rest basic.
I love that castle call you just did there, Will.
So wait, I could do. What did you say about 2 advanced?
Yep. So you can grab the Great Inventions card or draw a random advance card.
Do I have a workshop?
For victory cards, victory cards are played to the side of your board. They cost an action to play, and you need the requirement listed. So either the Master Builder or Workshop is required.
Okay, so I could take. You said I could take 2 of the advanced cards now, right?
Just one.
So I could 2 from the deck, and then how many intermediate?
2 intermediate.
I could do 2 intermediate now.
Well, you've always been able to do that because I was at advanced.
Oh, because okay, got it. I guess we'll do this guy, and he'll be worth more victory points. So now it's like victory point grind time now.
Correct.
And then I'm passing to Adam. So go ahead, Adam. So this is a min max. This is like the mega min max period. Like your engine is already built. Whatever happens now happens. Pretty
correct, much. Right. And I don't like when games end suddenly. So that's why after the Age of Enlightenment card's drawn, you have one final turn to try to do as much damage to someone else or build as much as you can.
Okay.
And again, that's where spreading your board out plays nicely because then you can stack more victory points on your board.
I see that blue hand floating over toward my player mat. I need you. Be gone. Be gone.
I'm just seeing what you have over here. I like what you're building. I just want to check it out. Look, I'm gonna come over here and check out what Adam's building.
So Adam, you are figuring out what you're doing now? Min-maxing over there? Uh-oh. He's getting rid of Thor.
Did we lose his sound?
Yeah, I think we lost his...
Adam, did we lose your sound?
Oh, he's muted. I'm sure that's for a reason.
Oops, sorry, guys. All right.
It's not for a reason. He just...
Discarding this woodsman. I'm going to play this archer. Then for the last action, I want to play this other level 3 card, but I'm actually short 1 grain.
I've got plenty of grain.
So I'm going to pay. Who's the least amount of treasure? Will.
Raise his hand.
Pay Will for grain and.
Yay! Thank you.
Play that card, which also gives me the castle finally.
Right.
Nice. So yeah, it's neat to see the riches mechanics still useful even late into the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of it is, there's definitely constraints where you will get stuck needing resources, but there's enough tools, whether it's the discard, whether it's trying to cycle through cards, the drafting, the riches, try to make the tools available.
Right.
So, sorry, now I get, with the castle, you get
one advanced.
One advanced and 2, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, what is that?
It's the end of the game.
So do I get another
turn?
My turn's over, right?
You do not get to draw another advanced card, but you can still finish the rest of your draw.
Okay.
But in return, you get 1 victory point from drawing the Age of Enlightenment card.
Yeah.
And so just to be on the record, we put the Age of Enlightenment card very high towards the top of the deck just to keep the shorter from the stream from all the talking and things. So normally we have official placements of set levels in the deck that we recommend putting for the average playtime. But my favorite way to play is just randomly shuffling it in. So it could be on the top, on the bottom. And
that's kind of crazy too. If like you're hitting it like Age of Enlightenment second card in the game.
Right. And so that way, it kind of changes your thinking of, do you go in for the long haul or do you start prioritizing victory points early?
Right.
Because you never know where that's going to pop up.
Yeah, I like that.
Excellent.
And so the advanced deck is purposely pretty thin. I think 21 total cards, and 4 of those are play immediately that will cycle another card out. So
very nice.
Back to you, Michael.
Okay, so I will upgrade.
So we all get to go around. Adam is the last player, correct?
Yep. I'll play a siege camp here. Now I'm gonna do something different. I've got a religious sacrifice card here.
Oh.
So as part of my final turn, I'm going to use religious sacrifice on my east tile, so my middle right tile. It's going to remove my storehouse, which gives me no victory points. And everyone else has to remove the top land card.
That's tough because that's my Great Wall.
Wait, top right you said? Or
middle right. I'm sorry, middle right.
Yay! I don't have anything there. Adam sure does. No.
Well, I think that's something to highlight. So Adam loses. Was that your third level 3 card?
It's a level 2, or sorry, it's level 3. You're right.
Yeah, but that does not progress them down, Michael. Correct? Like they still get to maintain that advance.
Right. So once you reach any checkpoint in the game, you get to stay there even if the required card goes away. Same with victory cards. If you played a victory card that required a Corey at the time, if you lose the Corey, you still get to keep the victory card out. It still counts.
Cool.
All right. Sorry, guys. I was talking in chat. What do I lose?
You lose
your middle right, so that guy right there.
Both
just
cards or just
no, just the top.
All right, Michael, are you done?
I am. Yep.
All right. So for my turn, I'm going to play, which does require an action. These victory point cards.
And survival tactics can block that if anyone had a survival tactics.
Oh wow. Okay. So I have the quarry, so I can build that. And then I'm going to build the swordsman.
Very good.
And then for my last piece, I am going to do a great attack. So I get to
please
5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So I have 11.
That hits everybody.
Nope, I have 12.
Nice.
Oh wait, no, I have 6.
I was going to say, do you really? Because that's impressive. I think the last game I had that many, but because I had the power.
Right, yeah, I think I had the Great Wall and Tower last game too.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly the game plays differently depending on where the Age of Enlightenment card is drawn.
That was dirty, what you just did.
Yeah, it was, and I liked it.
I agree.
Michael, real quick, do we get to still draw?
Yes, you still finish your draws, and I actually should have finished my draw, just in case there's play immediatelys that are drawn.
Okay, so let me do that.
And I did not draw.
I do have one.
Okay.
It is help for the starving. So the person who has the least number of wheat.
I have 2, 5. Yeah, 5.
I have 5.
I have 5 as well.
Thinking Adam
I think it's Adam.
with 1.
He's got
Yep.
2.
With 2? Yep, you get it.
There you go, Adam.
I'll take it.
All right.
And then you
That's-
draw an immediate to replace that one.
Okay, now it is your turn.
Okay.
Will.
So I will remove my farmer. He was a good dude. But actually, well, let me think real quick before I do that. I have 3 grain, 5 grain. Yeah. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to build my blacksmith over here. And then I need to pay somebody for that forest, I think.
Give me your riches.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. Here you go, Adam. Paying you for that forest. Dat
take
one
it.
forest. And then I am going to play the Great Wall. And I'm going to play... Now I'm going to get rid of this farmer and replace him with my knight.
Michael, these wall cards do not build on each other, correct?
Correct.
Oh, they don't?
So you just discard. You can discard this bottom card, or since it's victory point, you can just
Yeah, I'm just going to
Yeah,
throw it
right.
in.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So those don't have the stacking icons in the top right. So
So is there a purpose for me to even re-up my cards at this point, or is the game over? Like, would I
for the play immediately is just the advanced
got it.
one
Got it.
advanced and the 2 intermediates. Yeah.
That I don't have a workshop or master builder, so let's see what this does. Draw 1 advanced card. Player who has this the most. Okay, wheat keeps
So-
that.
So I have
that's-
5.
I was to say, Will, do you still have 5?
I have 5 as well. Wait, no, I don't. I have 1, 2, 3, 3.
Okay, I have 5. So Michael, it's
I have
least
5.
riches.
For the tiebreaker.
And
No,
this again,
for the festivals, it goes to the person who has the most
Okay.
riches as tiebreakers.
Well,
So
that is me.
Nice.
so that also required me to draw another advanced card, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Draw 1
Festival,
advanced.
well.
Draw another advanced card. Player who has the most metal keeps this card. I have 5, 6 metal.
I'm at 5.
I have 3.
I have 4.
So,
Okay.
Will.
So this goes on to my right.
And it is another draw.
Draw another card.
All right.
And then 1 victory point for every. And then I keep this, I guess.
Well, it goes in your hand.
No.
Just in my hand. Damn.
Yeah, you won't be able to play it.
Then I get
Still
to
2,
draw
yeah.
2 of those. So draw 1.
While we're drawing
Least
all these real quick,
population keeps the card. Who has
I'm
least
at
population?
7.
4.
I have 5 population. So
Michael has, I think I have the least.
Michael
Michael has
has
like
7.
7 or something.
there you go.
Yeah, I've got 7.
Draw another one. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 more.
Cool.
So that's a cool card, but
Yeah.
won't be able to play it this year.
No. Okay. And then that is it.
All right.
All right.
Last turn of the game, right?
Yep, last turn.
All right. So I'm going to play this wall. And then I'm going to play.
So I took out Chris's wall, hoping some people could attack him.
And then I've.
See how
Well,
much
what the heck? Why not attack? All right. So I have 5, 8, 12 total attack.
Here's mine.
Nice. Yep,
Chris-
he hit me.
Should Chris give me 2 since he got beat so bad?
No, no, that is not the criteria.
Are you sure?
All right. I'm actually going to give 1 back because I'm short. I want to build this vineyard.
Please
I'm
give
short.
it to me. Please give it to me.
I'm short one wood. Who has the least amount of treasure? It is either Will or Michael. So I'll give it to Michael as a thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
All
And
right.
that's it. That's the game.
So draw
I guess I
your-
should draw for
just to see
media
the
cards, right?
immediate-
Yeah,
Well,
first
you
is
have
advanced.
advanced too, so make sure you draw that.
Let's see. Nothing.
You're right too. It's crazy how much more lush the cards look at like the advanced level.
Nothing.
Yeah, they're definitely my favorite, and it just feels good seeing your board with all those,
Nothing.
all those level 3 cards on. Okay, so only the top card counts for victory points on a stack, and of course everything on the sideboard.
Interesting.
This is where I have to deafen you all because I can't count when you keep count.
14, 32, 98. I'm the same way though.
All right. So remind me, Michael, it's just the points and the cards we're
You
counting.
know, we could do. I mean, we did this
victory points.
Last time I was on too. We can go around the table real quick and count like each one if we want to focus on them. So who do you want to start with? Chris? No, we know he won. So let's go with somebody else.
We'll go with me. I didn't have a very strong game today.
So let's point the camera over at Michael, and Michael, walk us through your victory points here.
So all the land cards, the top card on the bottom right. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then the riches is 12 and 13. So I had no victory cards, and I had no play immediatelys that I had won. So that's it. No. And the nice thing about a definite card placement, like our recommended Age of Enlightenment card placements, is your score is going to be pretty similar. And that's why it's so nice for play testing to get that range of concrete. Now, if you play with a random Age of Enlightenment, you get wild score variation, which is pretty cool. Another aspect of it.
Okay, so you had 13, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, moving over to Adam. What do we got over here?
Let's see, 16 from my place cards plus 4 from the treasures. That's 20.
Did you count the help for?
Yep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 16 plus 4 is 20.
Nice.
And I think might be the exact same score I got the last time we played this.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, so
yes, slight improvement.
So if we go across the top row on my board here, we're looking at 5 on the top one plus the Duke would be 8. Second row 4 plus 4 is another 8, and third row 3 plus 1 gives us a total of 4 there. So 16 and 4 is 20 plus my riches 21 and Festival of Wealth 22.
Okay. Oops, sorry, that was. I'm doing point scoring here. I apologize.
For some reason, can I say this real quick?
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead.
For some reason, I imagine Chris at home with like one of those old school calculators that has like the
The abacus. I have the wormwood abacus sitting.
no, like
Yeah,
imagine that, yeah, it's like
Pull the
spitting out.
lever.
It's like spitting out all this paper and
he's like
super loud.
he's wearing
I've
like
got
the
the like poker hat, the green.
yeah,
poker.
the green visor, the green transparent. Just like his tongue out the corner of his mouth, like
Yeah, it's a pencil in my ear. Michael, what was your point total?
13, I think.
13.
Yeah.
Okay, and going through mine here. For the top row, I have 5, 6. Middle row, I have 2, so that's 8. Bottom row, I have 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I have 5 treasures, which give me 21. And then 22 for the Help the Poor, 23 for the festival. And then the marble statues gives me 2 points. So that's 25.
Whoa, nice.
Nice.
Close game.
What was second place of this?
25, 22, 20, and 13 is what I have.
Nice. Cool. Well, yeah. I don't. There's definitely not enough time for another game, but I
Right.
will highlight the new cards that will be unlocked, and we're
Yes.
getting very close to reaching our next stretch goal and being able to print these.
Where's the draft? Oh, over here. Okay, got it.
Should we clear them off?
Yeah, here, I'll just...
Sure, yeah. There you go.
Don't forget the Crayolas, too.
So the first one, and which side are you facing? Is this correct? Okay, so the first one is a basic card. It is the Trading Post. It is a land card with no requirements. Adjacent cards get +1 resources. So you can boost 2 cards to the top, to the right, to the bottom, to the left. So you'll get 1 additional resource. Now it doesn't affect walls or anything like that, but resources it will. And the other option is you can replace up to 3 basic trade route cards each turn. So 3 basic draft cards each turn.
Cool.
So that's one of the ways to cycle through some of that draft.
Oh, that's cool. It's every turn.
Yes, right. And so it's a land card, and we'll take up a land slot, but it does give some great bonuses early. So the second card is the Trade Expedition. This is a basic event, no requirements. Okay. And you can refresh up to 4 basic trade route cards or 1 intermediate draft card. The trade route is what we're calling the draft. And it gives you, this text will be updated a little bit, it'll give you 1 free draft during your turn of a basic or an intermediate, as long as you've reached that threshold for intermediate cards. So again, it's another way to refresh, but also allows you to access the draft during your turn, which the other cards don't. So then we've got the Harbor. So Harbor has a different requirement than most. It requires 3 riches and 2 goods, which we'll get to what goods are right after this. So as long as you have those requirements, it is an intermediate land card. And so it is a level 3 card. It doesn't give any victory points, or actually I think it's going to be giving 2. I think this is a little bit older. So it'll give 2 victory points in line with the other level 3 land cards. Adjacent cards get +1 resources, so the same bonus as the Trading Post. But it allows you to spend 2 actions to gain a goods card or upgrade a goods to a bountiful goods. Now you're probably wondering, what the heck is a goods card? So a goods card is a new currency, and so this will be the total cards. We haven't determined how many total goods cards, but it's going to be a new currency similar to riches.
Okay.
So a goods card is how players can interact with the draft during the game, and also it adds another level of player interaction. So the goods card, you can return this card to the good pile and gain 1 free basic or intermediate draft. So during your turn, if you were playing a card and there was an intermediate or a basic card that you really wanted, and you didn't want to spend the action to get that card, you could take one of your 3 starting goods cards, put it in the middle, essentially burn it, and take one of those basic or intermediate cards. Cool. Now, if you want to burn 2 of the goods cards in the same turn, you can draft an advance card. So let's say on your turn it was the last turn, you really wanted this advance card because you could play it and you didn't want to burn an action. You could play 2 goods cards, burn them, and then draft the advance card and play it. So it's a cool way to interact with the draft. And then it has another layer too, and it has to do with bountiful goods. So the goods cards can actually be used when it's not your turn.
Okay.
So if I'm playing and it's Chris's turn, and there is a card that is in the intermediate or advanced deck that I really want, I can offer one of my goods cards for a basic or intermediate card in the draft, and that card would get flipped over into a bountiful goods, which would actually give him a victory point. Now, he has the option, this is for a basic or intermediate, he has the option to say, I'm not going to take that deal, no way.
Right.
He also has the option to say, can you sweeten that deal by including a riches card? So you would need at least one base goods that's upgraded when you transfer, but he could request any number of riches on top of that for you to take that trade deal. Or he can say no.
Any number of riches.
Or he can say no. Correct.
Right.
And so, it's up to the players to decide, hey, this victory point interaction's favorable or not favorable.
Right.
And so, again, the bountiful cards, once it's upgraded, it gives you a victory point. But if you ever wanted to exchange these, they work the same way as goods. So you could burn this if it was in your advantage to get an advanced card.
Very cool.
Are the goods worth victory points at the end of the game?
Only if they are traded are they worth 1 victory point. So the incentive is to use them to your advantage.
Okay.
And if once they're upgraded, you have the choice. Hey, I kind of like that victory point, or hey, I think I'm going to burn this to get a better option.
So whenever you trade a good to another player, it automatically flips to a bountiful.
It automatically flips every time you trade. Yep.
Got it.
And so that makes a little bit more sense with the harbor. So if you have at least 2 of your goods left, you start with 3, and you have maintained all 3 of your riches, you can play the harbor. And once per turn, you can spend 2 actions to gain a goods card or upgrade a goods to a bountiful goods. So It gives you a unique way to spend your action to focus on this new strategy, which is kind of an economic strategy. And that leads us to the final advanced card that we're adding. So it's in the advanced deck. It is called Commerce. It requires a harbor, and you will get 1 victory point for each goods or bountiful goods that you have at the end of the game.
That's excellent. And those are worked into. Those have been unlocked via the stretch goals already.
We're pretty close. We're pretty close.
Okay.
We're definitely on pace to be able to print all these cards. The goods adds a lot of extra cards in the printing because of the currency they can be created. So we need to have a deck of extra. But
so, Michael, is that like a mini expansion, or is it like part of the base game? Or okay.
Yep, it's definitely a mini expansion. And so the emphasis was interaction with the draft and more player interaction, and the economic route to victory. So kind of give another path to focus on. Very
awesome. Well, I mean, the culmination of everything you have here, the game design itself, the art that you've put into it, this is an exciting Kickstarter and an exciting game, on it to stand on its own too. So anybody who's watching, I hope you guys are going to go out and back it tonight. Or before the campaign ends. You have 1 week left, is that correct?
Yep, there's 1 week left.
All right. 1 week left on the campaign. I'm going to go around the table real quick, and we'll do some just snap reflections on the game, and any last words from each person, and then I'll give you a chance to give any shout outs you want to give out, Michael, and then we'll call it a night. How's that sound?
Okay, yeah, that sounds great.
Anybody who's watching, before we go and do this, Michael and I are going to be free after the stream. So if anybody who's watching now, if they want to join Discord, we'll be available to play some games or a game afterward if we have some people interested. So please, if you're watching now and you want to stick around after the episode, Michael and I are going to stick around. We'll play a game with some people who are watching us.
Off stream, right, Will?
Off stream. It will not be on stream. It'll be off stream. So it'll just be a good chance to learn the game. You can, if you have your own questions for Michael or me, you can ask those while we play the game. So all right. So we'll start with let's start with Adam on just the overall.
I love the game. I loved it from day one. I was a backer either day 1 or day 2 as soon as I knew it was up on Kickstarter. I love the the kind of engine building aspect of it. I really like the game with the draft mechanic implemented. So just for your information, Will, the kind of base version of the game, and I think it's good for if you're learning the game for the first time, but you're basically just top drawing the whole game. So you don't have the choice of seeing the cards prior to drawing them, which is a huge contributor why I went from 19 points to 20 points in game 2. That really
you got that self-deprecating shit.
Really improved my play, obviously.
It was 20 points in a much shorter game, an abbreviated game too.
No, but I like everything about it. I love the engine building, love the art. For me, I like that Michael's a local guy. I'm from Kansas City, so yeah, all cool stuff. I'm really excited about it, and obviously the market's responded very favorably.
Cool. Yeah, well, thank you. Thanks for backing.
Chris.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, you can definitely love a game when you win at it twice. So
those wombats and hairy bulls.
The wombats and hairy bulls.
Yeah.
No, I think the thing that I love most about this is, again, that first day when Michael when we were Adam and I were at CantCon, and Michael described it as this Dominion Settlers kind of crossover. I was like, wow, that seems interesting. I don't really know, but I do get that feel. I love the card idea. I think it plays like a quicker, and like Adam said, especially with the draft, I love the draft, a more controlled kind of resource management piece. And it's not just play the first card you have. There's definitely some strategy here. Again, I think with these persons, you've got to play some, and especially when you get, again, we didn't see it as much because of the shorter game, but these advanced cards, these victory cards, you have to have certain pieces to be able to maximize those. And there's just a lot more strategy. It's feels quicker game, but it's more complex than I think folks originally would think. Right? It was more complex than I originally thought. So absolutely. I really enjoy it. Also plan on backing. Fantastic.
Yeah, same here. You guys know how I think about it, or my thoughts on it. The only thing that I ever really want more of in any game is more take that stuff and more attacks things. So if you had more plagues and attacks, the whole game could be plagues and attacks, and I'd be like, this is the best game that I've ever played. But obviously everybody has their own what they like, and I think it's very well balanced. So but like I said, if you made an expansion that was just like the Marauder expansion, I'd be like, okay, ching ching, I'm in. You know what I mean? Immediately. But yeah, I think it's great. It's the success that you're seeing on Kickstarter is obvious that people are picking up on it, and it's a great melding of mechanics that I've loved in the past as well. So Michael, go ahead. Anybody else you want to shout out to? Any projects that you're going to be working on? Before you do that, I always forget this question until the last minute, but it's important. What conventions are you going to be heading to the remainder of this year?
Cool. Well, yeah. First, I want to thank you guys for having me on the stream, Will, Adam, and Chris, and Geekspiel, and setting all this up. And there was also Chris who helped set up the game in Tabletop Simulator.
Yes.
And we
Digital
couldn't have done
Carnage,
it with
Digital Carnage, Chris. He did an amazing job. Yep.
And so I want to thank him, and I want to thank my wife who helped play test for so many times when I was first creating this, and of course
the shepherd.
The shepherd, the card. She's on the shepherd, and also the illustrator who's phenomenal. And we'd worked on a project 2011 together, and this is the second project we worked together, and I can't say enough good things about Jeff and his artwork and everything he does. So I want to thank him. And as far as conventions go, let's see. I know Jeff will have a booth at Dragon Con.
Okay.
The huge one is it in Atlanta, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he'll be probably a little bit overwhelmed because I'm not able to make it down there, but we'll have a lot of Era of Kingdom artwork, and he'll have his other game available for purchase, Unifera.
Okay.
And we'll be possibly taking pre-orders at that time. I'm not sure exactly what'll be set up during that time.
Okay.
But yeah, he'll be at Dragon Con, and let me see, Jeff, is there any other conventions this year that we could shout out?
You guys should both come to PAX U. I mean, we're all going to be there, so there's no reason you shouldn't be.
Where's that one at?
It's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's really close to Thanksgiving though, so I can understand if people have to make a trip if they can't make it. But yeah, that's true. No reason. No excuse. You're coming to PAX U.
So we might be at PAX U, and Jeff just said Midwest Game Fest here in the Kansas City area.
Okay.
Coming up, we'll be at, and we're going to try to be at Gen Con next year, and then the game will be in print, so we will have copies at Gen Con next year.
You'll be official.
Yeah.
You won't be the indie anymore. You'll be
right. We won't be a booth with just a piece of paper saying, sign our Kickstarter email list. Which is nothing wrong with that. We've definitely done that in the past at conventions, but
right.
So,
right. You'll have physical product. Again, thank you very much for being a guest on the show. We really wish you the best with the remainder of your Kickstarter and for any future projects. And know that you're always welcome back here on Geek Spiel. And you're now a member of the community. So don't leave.
For any viewers that haven't checked out Geek Spiel or the Discord, it's a great group of people, and they've been very helpful for me. And also, they play a lot of games on Tabletop Simulator and Tabletopia. And if you ever want some cool guys to play games with, definitely check out the Discord. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate that. So again, we're going to close right now. Anybody who wants to join us, please jump into Discord. We'll set up a room, and Michael and I will be playing there. Thank you all for watching. Thanks, chat, for the engagement tonight and making fun of me and Chris for the majority of it. You all have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next Wednesday here at Table Crashers.